Imagine a world where lions roam on Mars and giraffes thrive on the moon. The future of zoos is out of this world. Sounds like science fiction, but with the rapid advancements in technology and space exploration, it's not as far-fetched as you might think. The idea of zoos in space might seem crazy, but it's actually a concept that's been explored by scientists and space agencies. They're thinking about how we can create habitats for animals in space, and what that would mean for the future of conservation. One of the main challenges is figuring out how to replicate the conditions that animals need to survive on Earth. This means creating artificial gravity, which is essential for the health and well-being of most living creatures. Artificial gravity can be achieved through rotation, which would simulate the gravitational force that we experience on our planet. It's a complex problem, but scientists are working on it, and it's not impossible. For example, some space stations already use rotation to create a sense of gravity, and this technology could be used in space zoos. Another important aspect is the psychological impact on the animals. We need to make sure that they're not stressed or anxious in their new environment. This is where the design of the space zoo comes in. It would need to be tailored to the specific needs of each species, with plenty of space to roam and interact with their surroundings. It's a bit like designing a theme park, but instead of roller coasters and water rides, you'd have zero-gravity enclosures and virtual reality experiences. The possibilities are endless, and it's exciting to think about what we could create. As we explore the idea of zoos in space, we're also forced to think about the ethics of keeping animals in captivity, even if it's in a futuristic high-tech environment. Is it right to bring animals to space, or are we just repeating the mistakes of the past? These are questions that we need to consider, and they're not easy to answer. The future of zoos in space is complex, and it raises a lot of questions about our relationship with animals and the planet. As we move forward with the idea of zoos in space, we have to think about the kind of animals that would actually thrive in this environment. We're not just talking about your average household pets, but exotic species that are adapted to extreme conditions. For example, some species of fish and amphibians can survive in low-gravity environments, and certain types of insects can even live in the vacuum of space. But what about larger animals, like mammals and birds? Can they really adapt to life in space? It's a tough question, and one that requires a lot of research and experimentation. One of the biggest challenges is creating a habitat that mimics the natural environment of these animals. We're talking about simulating the right temperature, humidity, and even gravitational forces. It's a huge undertaking, but if we get it right, it could be a game changer for conservation efforts. Just imagine being able to study and protect endangered species in a controlled environment without the risks of poaching or habitat destruction. It's a pretty exciting prospect, and one that could have a real impact on the future of our planet. But even with all of the potential benefits, we still have to consider the risks and uncertainties. What happens if something goes wrong and the animals are put in harm's way? What about the cost and the resources required to build and maintain these space zoos? It's a lot to think about, and it's not something that we can take lightly. As we move forward, we need to be careful and make sure that we're doing what's best for the animals and for the planet. So what's next, and how can you stay up to date on this exciting topic? Check out our next video, where we'll be exploring the latest advancements in space technology and how they're being used to protect our planet and the animals that call it home.